the home stretch and a long week and a half. I'm only going to take about 10 or 15 minutes to go over some of the evidence. I've been sitting over there making notes, trying to keep my notes like y'all have. So we're going to go over a couple. Judge said something during voir dire that really didn't strike upon me until I was sitting here listening to Mr. Mallett. That's the spin zone. I heard a lot of spinning going on. I heard him say there's a puzzle out there and there's missing pieces. And if there's a missing piece, you can look at what we haven't brought you to fill in the piece. No, it's not. It's not. They have to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt every piece of the puzzle. And if they ask you to find a piece or get a piece and stick it in the wrong hole, they haven't done it. That's just how that works. What you're going to see on the next couple slides is in the jury instructions that y'all are going to get. You don't even get a copy of the tape back there. Y'all don't have to remember what the judge read. Y'all actually get it. State's burden of proof, each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt. Pretty straightforward. We'll talk about that in voir dire. These are the jurors' duties. Determine the facts and what they prove. You determine that. Not us. Not the state. Nobody. You determine that. Unanimously. You go back and you determine what all of y'all collectively. You judge the believability of the witnesses. You can either believe them or not believe them. And no one's going to come back to you back there and ask you why you believe somebody and why you didn't. Determine the weight to be given evidence. How much weight you put on something. A little bit, a lot, or none at all. Determine the reliability of scientific evidence. You do that. You get to do that. You got 3 separate and distinct charges to consider. Murder, intoxication manslaughter, felony UWI. You got to arrive to a verdict on all of them. Okay? You can look at them however you want. You can discuss them in whatever order you want, as long as it's within the instructions of the court, and as per the court's instructions, you determine how to do that once you get the case to go back there and deliberate. Presumption of innocence. It's in the charge. We talked about that a little bit. It's only overcome once you've been convinced beyond a reasonable doubt of all the elements of the case. That's why it says the presumption alone is sufficient to acquit. It never goes away until you've been convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. All right. One thing I agree with Mr. Mao about, among other things, but in this case is about intoxication. Plain and simple. That's the first hurdle you as a juror have to jump. Because all the offenses that you're asked to consider all have those same basic core elements. And if you have a reasonable doubt whether or not he was intoxicated, stop. You're done. You don't move on to anything else. You don't move on to the cause, the act. You don't go on. You go directly to the verdict on each and every one of the counts. So when it boils down to it, that's the first thing you got to do when you get back there. So let's look at it. The state said we got to look at everything. I agree. But we have to look at everything the state has to prove. The state suggested in their opening, well, what did the defense show you? What are they doing over there? Look in that instruction. The burden never shifts to the defense. Now, we may do a lot. We may ask a lot of questions, but we certainly don't have to prove anything. That's not our job. And the presumption alone stays there until they overcome it, until they prove it beyond reasonable doubt. So let's look at it. Most of this was in the state's case. Golf tournament, 9 to 6:30, give or take, approximately. I believe that there was testimony of some kind of charity to raise funds for scholarships, kind of a business type thing. Everybody was in the business of real estate. By the way, this is not a bachelor party golf tournament on Saturday. This is a business and charity golf tournament. Tiffany Perez from TABC investigated the tournament. Did you hear any evidence of any kind of violations or any problems? All above board. Jonathan Lang, Craig House, Justin Vorsky, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, all played golf with him that day. You recall the testimony. All day. Did he look normal? Yeah. Like the one guy that knows him, yeah, like always. The other two never met him. The first day they ever met him. Did he look normal? Yeah. Did you see him play golf all day? Yeah. Walking to and from the golf cart? Yeah. Riding around? Yeah. Talking to everybody? Yeah. Was he drinking a lot? Not really. We had a few. Literally a few. Over the course of 7, 8, 9 hours. Not one single one of them. Now, they don't have a motive to lie. They don't even know it. They're just coming in here telling you honestly what they saw. And they all said, I didn't get this intoxicated. And we'll get to some other details about that. But that's what we got. That's the evidence we have related to drinking. Sum total. Now, I lost my mouse. There it is. The state brought you this. I'm not real sure why. But we know there's no evidence that he had any beer, liquor, or anything else in his car. So we know he wasn't drinking and driving. We know that. Officer Clint Hamilton, they kept asking this question. No flaps, no alcohol containers, no indicators of alcohol consumption at all. They were all consistent of that. Josh Alvarez, UPD, Trooper Eric Sadler, all of them. Fair enough. The state's right. We are going to look at some of the witnesses and what they saw individually, because I think it's important. These are all the witnesses who didn't smell any alcohol at any time. Roy Gay, on the scene of an accident, retired APD officer. You think he had made a few accident scenes over his lifetime? I think he even said, yeah, that's the first thing you kind of suspect. Kind of look at that. Debbie Supernall, registered nurse. Well, she's trained to do that. Again, she's right there on the scene, right there, just by happenstance. Officer Clint Hamilton, Austin Police Department, same thing. Just happened to be there. Again, that's what he does. He investigates DWI out on the street. Nothing led you to believe anyone who smelled alcohol. He asked around to other people, interaction with other officers, including Joshua Alvarez. Same thing, didn't smell anything, got close enough to him to tell. Nope, nothing. Eric Spiller, emergency medical tech. Again, these are all people who are trained to do it. This isn't just somebody who happens to be there. These are all this is the sum total of the witnesses that the state called that gave any testimony about their opinion as to intoxication. This is it. Officer Alvarez, he stated, I think he lost normal use of mental faculties. So when asked, what's that based on? Well, it's confusion in the back of the ambulance. Yes. Did you have any probable cause for DWI? Nope. That's all I got. Trooper Lashley. Initially, his opinion was based on HGN. You get to decide scientific evidence of whether it was performed correctly or not.
5 minutes, Kevin.
Yes, sir. Dr. Day said she kind of remembers it, not in her clinical impressions. Dr. Kozlowski, same thing. This is what you have from the witnesses regarding not intoxicated. Craig House, Jonathan Lang, Cindy Heitman, Eric Spiller, Emily Hyde, Jacob Herrera, Justin Dvorsky, Christopher Motor, all of them. And this is a list of all the things that they testified to regarding specifically as to intoxication. Every single one of them asked, think you lost normal use? Nope. Is he intoxicated? No, I don't think so. No indications that he was. Let's talk about specifics. Loss of normal use of mental faculties. Again, I broke them down. Craig House, Roy Gay, Debbie Supernall, Eric Spiller, Emily Hyde, Dr. Day, Dr. Kozlowski, Justin Dvorsky. And these are all the things that I've been making notes of what they said. Had he lost the normal use of his mental faculties? Nope. And that's the list. Nothing unusual. These are some of the words that they use. Memory was very good. Craig House especially, it's like, man, that guy didn't forget a name all day. Even people he hadn't seen in 10 years, he knew exactly who they were and where he saw them. No signs of impairment from alcohol or drugs. Mental faculties, normal. Speech, normal. The list goes on. These are all the witnesses that testified as to his normal physical faculties. They had not lost the normal use of his physical faculties. Craig House, Cindy Heitman, Stan Heitman, Debbie Supernall, Officer Clint Hamilton, Officer Alvarez. The exhibit itself, you can go back and take a look at that. You see him walking, you get to decide. Eric Spiller, Emily Hyde again, even Trooper Hart. Dr. Day again, speech was normal. Dr. Kozlowski, speech was normal. I even asked Dr. Kozlowski, hey, before you get somebody out on something like this, where they're refusing treatment, you get them up, stand them up, see if their balance is okay. Oh, yeah. I said, well, anything abnormal about him? Well, I didn't really see anything. I said, but you note it? CYA, you put a little note in your notes if there was a problem. Oh, yeah. Ain't nothing in your notes, is there? Nope.
2 minutes ago.
Thank you. That's the hurdle right there. That's the first hurdle. If you have a reasonable doubt as to whether Jason Tarr was intoxicated, stop. Go no further. Is it hard? Is what you're doing hard? Yes. It took a day and a half to figure out if y'all were the jurors that could sit in a case like this and listen to the evidence and be fair and be unbiased and not be swayed by emotion or anything else and look at that evidence. That was a long jury selection. This is what you have to do. Mr. Sharman is going to take over now.